Okay. So this is an issue that will come up probably to everybody at all. So these are the apps I have open. Just don't mind those. But say I want to report a DiGiorno product defect. So I type in DiGiorno product defect hotline. I'm on the West Coast. It's 4:20 right now, 4:23. I need to make a report or I need to talk to someone about an issue I'm having with the food. That goes for every single person who works a 9 to 5 job, and that's IRL in real life. So basically, I type this in. The first search browser or search result comes out is Piss Consumer. DiGiorno customer service phone number 800-708-5580, email, and then help. Okay. And then we go Nestle, and then here's the number, and then it has the contact below. So I've already filled this out, already called. So this is just an example to basically post. The thing is, this needs to be held accountable and it needs to be fixed now. Because, it's food, it's a commodity, and you don't need your food to get spoiled, right? Yeah, I think that's the answer. You don't need a truckload of food maybe 126 times in 126 locations every week or month. But sometimes maybe not. Getting defective or spoiled product, you don't need that. So basically, I'll take my phone and I'll call the number right now. So let's go to the number right now. Type it in. Oh, didn't want to copy. That's an Apple product, obviously. So let's copy it one more time. So it just repeats the number and that gives you a non-emergency line. So out of looking at all the applications you could buy or get for a phone, you can't do very much in this situation. Even if you are a literal police officer or you are a government employee, you were fucked. You have the food you have. You were starving to death. Basically, this happens on a weekly and nightly basis. Somebody doesn't have food. Some of the food is bad in quality. The batches are bad in quality. They do not get reported. And then I bullshit you not, the communication specialist who you do come into contact with, and I'm just saying it from a company that I heard, they'll say they have no record or report of any foodborne illness from the food. And it's a lot of BS. The food is very sickening. It is very frustrating when you get on a line and they say, well, the food is fine. The food is not fine. The food you would not feed your dog, you would not feed your cat, you would not feed your child. It tastes like it has iron in it. And I'm not saying make up all the things that you need to make up with food. Some of the food is good quality. It needs to be better batch. It needs to have better check and quality control. The cleaning products need to make sure they're good. They don't go with a subordinate chemical from another country or some other BS. The one line strategy of Wall Street bets or whatever BS it is. The food is so bad for in some of these instances you go into food shock or you feel like you're going to go into cardiac arrest. It's not a food allergy. It's like a poisoning. So with some of these foods, it's good. Some of the foods is bad, and it depends on what region where you live. And again, it's a straight line of BS. I mean, you see somebody driving a car, they're probably not having a food poisoning issue just yet, but they're going to get to the issue when the store rearranges. Somebody gets a promotion, they don't know what they're doing, they don't know how databases work. So it's another line of BS. You hear someone in the government saying well, I do my job. I used to have a job there, and it's fine. it's a line of BS. Yeah, that's not how it works in real life, in IRL. In IRL, you have $100 per month for some people that have to spend their money on groceries. That's all the money they get, and that's not how it's going to happen. So, like, you need to check yourself. Is it like 3 o'clock or 4:30? Can my child get out of school right now? Yeah. Can he make the phone call? Yeah, if I leave him a note, right? But not if you're working a 9 to 5 job. That's not how it's going to go down. You're not going to get this ambivalent like point, like, well, I don't know if the food's bad or not. No, you made the food, you harvested the food, someone spent the money on the food. You're not going to waste everyone's time to say this didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of these jobs that you can have, like consumer, like assembly belt, like farming, or what else. And if you're not in the know of like how that works, you work a 4-hour job. That's not how it goes when you work a 9 to 5 job in the city. You depend on those foods. You depend on meat. You depend on food. You depend on water. You don't get to say, well, I want to work a 4-hour job. Then you ask, and you purposely go about working your job. But when you say and express yourself, my rent, you compare yourself to someone whose rent is $1,500, like $600 overhead, right? And your rent is like $300 to $400 or $450. It's not equivocal. You know what I'm saying? And the majority of what your consumer product does for your line in your city is a makeup. So you got to ask yourself, is that what you want to do? You want to exclaim your product is like exclusive, or you want to say your product is determined by the market and it has a value based on that proximity. I don't have to tell people where my ingredients come from. I don't have to be nice about it. My cheese is from vegetable glycerin, right? And then the other line of BS, I'm saying, like they're mocking the system right now, like the organic material. It is bad for you, right? It is bad for you in some cases. Some products is bad for you. They come from like places you don't want your product from. Mexico, for example, you don't want your product coming from a place where they're spraying like crops with cyanide or lead, right? That's block 314. You don't want that. 3.4. You don't want that. And then there's the question of like, did it come from like a nuclear reactor? Is the fish, I'm eating like coming from near a nuclear reactor? And it doesn't matter. Like it's one of those things that, it might not, fish up in Alaska are near a nuclear reactor. Those fish aren't organic. You know what I'm saying? Fish in like a breeding pond, are those organic? They're a little bit more organic than getting your fish from Alaska. You know what I'm saying? So you got to ask yourself, like, what it is and what is you're doing. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to BS and set up a straight up line again, think again. Think, again. And if you're going to repeat yourself and say, like, like, oh, I don't know. Like, I don't know what. Or, like, I don't know where. And then we can say, like, oh, this is the actual product you put on the line, and this is what you did. So, like, next time you say, like, I don't know what I do. I can show you a picture of what you did because there's video recording of what you did. Or there's an image of literally what you did. There's documented cases. People don't need to take video like recordings of their phone or images, but they do now because it's a fucking line of BS. This is all you do. This is all you will do. This is all you think about doing, and this is all you can't do because you don't know how to do it. So next time you want to like line up a BS, or say, oh, I'm going to shut down the whole business. Why don't you try for a second and say, like, well, this is what I need. This is my job. This is how I'm going to get promoted. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know where you're coming across, like, where you say, like, this is BS, this is not BS. And that's just me ranting right now. I could rant all day. But when the problem isn't fixed, where you don't work at? You don't work at a 9 to 5. You work at a 5 to 9 job. And that's like the rule of thumb. I mean, like anybody who like, got their job, like got it, you know what I'm saying? Like they went to college, they spent $50,000 of their money and time of work, like maybe like mind me asking, like what were you thinking when you couldn't like measure the economic like stamina, for example? Like when change matters, and that's your input and output of the business quality, and that's the control concern of your business, material, goods, everything, every single thing, change management, right? If you can't do that and it's not a change factor, I don't know what to say. If you're not growing that concept, and you can't capitalize on a market that you cannot understand, such as Mexico. Mexico is a great example of that. Blocks 3 and 4. If you can't do those things, and you're going to say you're going to be the next, like, who's a good significant figure? I don't know, the Dalai Lama. You want to be the next Dalai Lama, or do you want to be the next folk hero? You want to be the next Taylor Swift, business, like honorary doctorate degree. Whatever it is. The next Michael Porter, the business strategist. You're going to have to redevelop those things. You're going to have to do them all. No one's going to sit there and tell you what to do. They're going to say, I expect this to be done. I expect it to be polite, neat, and adequate. I don't want to hurt someone. I don't want to fuck somebody over, but this is what's going to happen. So that's what, I think about it. So what do you think about it? Like, do you have $100 in your economically pocket, or we call them pockets, right? Would you have $100 to give over to somebody who said, my meat touched the ground today, and I worked at a prison, or I didn't know how to do this, or I'm thinking I'm difficult to getting a philosophy degree. I don't know what you're talking about when you say those things. I work for the Boys and Girls Club, but the Special Olympics co-sponsored program that works with anybody with disabilities. That includes people who get blown up in bombs, right? They don't get paid any money. People in independent living, they don't get paid money. But my parents make $150,000 a year, right? They're Republican. They don't like abortion, right? So why don't you straighten your order out here for a second and say this is my job. I'm going to be an adult in for how long? 80 more years? Is that how it's going to go down? So I don't know. If you need the help, just ask. If you need the help, just ask. Because, picking on random amount of maybe 20, 60-year-olds, isn't going to do it. You're going to have more. And it's not going to be, I brought candy to work today. It's not going to be, I brought a baggie to work today. It's going to be, you're going to work, and you're going to earn the right to do certain things in life. So I don't know where it comes across. If it's a DUI, then you probably should, admit to some alcohol problems. If it's something else, gosh, if you crash your car, I don't know what to say. I'm sorry, but you're going to have to do a better job than just thinking it through. You're going to have to put some effort into something. It doesn't mean you're going to sell sex for money, and it doesn't mean you're going to get help from somebody who sells for sex for money, because you're going to be cut from the market. You're not going to have a place in business. So, all right, that's just me venting.